"I'm sorry, but we can't just hand out rooms to anyone who shows up," said the hotel supervisor, Greg Walters, his tone heavy with superiority as he slid back Jessica's credit card across the smooth granite counter. "Especially not our deluxe suites." His words echoed sharply through the polished lobby of the Crescent Palace Hotel, drawing a crowd of employees nearby. One young clerk whispered to her coworker loud enough to be noticed, "She doesn't even look like she belongs here." Chuckles spread quietly among the gathered staff as Jessica, a woman quietly confident but feeling the sting of shame, stood silently. What none of them realized was about to shake their world. The woman they assumed unworthy of a room would soon reveal a truth that would change their careers and the hotel's future forever. Have you ever been judged before anyone knew your story? This tale is one of swift justice, a moment that flips the script completely. If you believe respect should be universal, no matter skin color, style, or assumptions, comment "Respect Matters" and hit subscribe. Jessica Monroe stood in the gleaming lobby of the Crescent Palace, her lightweight olive jacket still damp from a gentle drizzle outside. At 44, she moved with the calm assurance of someone used to commanding attention, not as a guest, but as the visionary CEO of Horizon Hospitality Group, which owns the Crescent Palace and several other properties nationwide. But today, Jessica wasn't in her usual designer attire. Instead, she wore casual jeans and a soft sweater, her hair tucked away in a simple bun. She kept her executive business cards safely at home. For months, troubling feedback had come in about the Crescent Palace. Guests of color felt overlooked, received slower service, and sensed a chilly atmosphere. Jessica knew discrimination when she saw it. After 2 decades breaking barriers in the hospitality world, she wasn't about to ignore it. "These aren't just numbers," she told her leadership team. "They're voices. I have to see this for myself." So she came disguised as a regular traveler, rolling a modest carry-on behind her. For 15 minutes, she observed the front desk. A well-dressed businessman was welcomed instantly. A middle-aged Asian couple waited awkwardly, their questions met with little enthusiasm. A Latino family was ushered to a corner far from the main check-in area. Her heart sank. The reports were true. With a steady breath, Jessica approached the desk, phone in hand, ready to check in under the name Monroe. "Next guest, please," called the front desk agent, a woman named Rachel, who greeted Jessica with a noticeably colder voice than the warm tone she'd used moments before with a white guest. Jessica offered her confirmation and ID. Rachel glanced over, eyes flicking oddly over Jessica's relaxed outfit and natural hair. "One moment," she said briskly, fingers tapping the keyboard with exaggerated care. "I'm not finding your reservation," Rachel said, avoiding eye contact. Jessica kept calm. "I'm sure it's here." Rachel pretended to type. "Our system shows we're fully booked tonight. Maybe there was an error online." Nearby, a young white couple without reservations was welcomed enthusiastically. "We have a lovely room with a river view," another clerk said with a smile. Jessica's suspicions tightened. "I'd like to speak with a manager," she requested. Rachel replied dismissively, "Our manager's busy, and without a reservation, there's nothing we can do. Maybe try one of the budget hotels nearby." The thinly veiled insult hung in the air. More staff gathered, their uniforms forming an unspoken wall. Across the lobby, a man in a tailored gray suit watched intently. Greg Walters, the Crescent Palace's general manager, was heading toward them. Greg's polished shoes clicked authoritatively on the marble floor. At 55, his graying hair and commanding presence made him seem untouchable. "Is there a problem here, Rachel?" he asked, voice smooth but sharp. He looked Jessica over with a dismissive glance, then back to Rachel. "She says she has a reservation, but it's not in the system." Greg turned to Jessica with a practiced, cold smile. "I'm Greg Walters, general manager here. I'm sorry, but we're fully booked. Perhaps there's been a misunderstanding about what kind of guests we accommodate." The lobby quieted. Other guests pretended not to watch while hotel employees exchanged subtle glances. A security guard moved closer, casually but deliberately. Jessica placed her platinum card on the counter. "I want to book a room now." Greg's smile tightened. "As I said, We have no availability tonight. Perhaps a different hotel would better fit your needs. Jessica overheard a clerk cheerfully offering rooms to another white walk-in couple nearby. The double standard was blatant. Her chest tightened with the familiar weight of being underestimated, dismissed. "Mr. Walters," Jessica said, steady but firm, "are you refusing me service because of my race?" The question hit like a thunderclap. Several guests turned to stare. Greg's face flushed with rage. "How dare you?" he hissed, stepping closer. "I'm asking you to leave before I call security. We reserve the right to refuse service to disruptive guests." Jessica stood her ground, pulling out her phone. "Hello, this is Jessica Monroe," she said clearly, voice shifting into the confident tone of a CEO. Greg crossed his arms, unimpressed. Behind her, employees watched in a mix of discomfort and shock. "Yes, I'm still at the Crescent Palace," Jessica said into the phone. "I need you here immediately." Greg signaled the security guard again. "Ma'am, this is your final warning." Jessica ended the call, unshaken. Time ticked loudly. Suddenly, the grand lobby doors opened. A tall, powerful woman in her 50s entered. Nina Brooks, Chief Operating Officer of Horizon Hospitality. "Stop this now," Nina's voice rang out. Greg's irritation showed. "Excuse me, but this doesn't concern you. Do you know who she is?" Nina cut him off, pointing to Jessica. "Yes, I do. This is Jessica Monroe, CEO of Horizon Hospitality. Your boss." Greg's face drained of color. Rachel gasped, hand to her mouth. Other staff froze. "Impossible," Greg stammered. Jessica finished for him. "I've been watching how you treat guests like me for the past 45 minutes. Security footage was pulled up on Nina's tablet. Dismissive glances, preferential treatment of white guests, slow service for others, all recorded in detail. Greg's confident mask shattered. "This," Jessica said, "is why we're here. The culture you allowed harms people and damages our brand." The lobby transformed. Jessica stood tall at the center, the CEO no longer invisible. "Show me the service records for the last 6 months, broken down by guest demographics," she ordered. Greg pleaded. "Mrs. Monroe, this must be a misunderstanding." "The problem isn't how you treated me when you knew who I was," Jessica said, voice calm but resolute. "It's how you treat people when you think no one's watching." The video showed white guests escorted to their rooms, while others navigated alone. Warm smiles turned cold for guests of color. "This discrimination violates company policy and the law," Jessica stated plainly. The ornate clock ticked as Greg's fate was sealed. "You're both terminated. Now," Rachel cried, begging for her job. Jessica, burdened but firm, declared the toxic culture must end. Fired staff left while hope stirred among others. Days later, Jessica led mandatory diversity training, exposing biases. 6 months on, the hotel embraced inclusion fully, proving respect isn't just right, it's smart business. True change begins when we confront bias head-on. By demanding respect and fairness, we build spaces where everyone belongs.